Luffy, from meeting one of the 4 emperors and eating the gum gum fruit, to being raised by Garp who throws him off at the Don Don family orphanage, and becomes brothers with an actual dead One Piece character, and definitely not dead Sabo. He then becomes a pirate himself and makes countless friends, crewmates, and wonderful islands to explore, all with the goal of being king of the pirates. He started off easy enough. I mean, he was wiping the floor in the East Blue like it was his early Call of Duty days. But then things changed when he got in the Grand Line, Alabasta. He struggled a couple of times thanks to Crocodile and his Logia type fruit, but he had a weakness, being moist.
I'm angry and I'm wet.
He had an easier time during Skypiea with Eneru, but that was only thanks to his devil fruit. Then, like Game of Thrones, things took a turn for the worse. Although he started using gear 2nd and 3rd during Enos Lobby, he was still barely able to make it out during the fight with the pigeon guy. It didn't get much better during Thriller Bark thanks to Lazy Ass. Not only did Luffy have to use a new type of form, but then he had to use both 2nd and 3rd gears at the same time, which practically almost killed him. But he didn't, thanks to some help. Then, everything changes for Luffy during Sabaody.
Yamero. 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 Yamero.
Now back to his solo adventures in Amazon Lily, hinting at Haki, and Hands and Cock in love with him. He goes to save his brother Ace from his execution at Impel Down. After going through a wonderful arc and many old acquaintances and new, they make it in time in Marineford to save Ace, or so they thought. He ends up losing his brother Ace. All this time throughout this journey, he was a happy-go-lucky guy, just wanting to go on an adventure, embrace freedom, and living life to the fullest. Edgy as this sounds, reality kicked in. Thanks to Jinbei, Luffy manages to escape and is completely heartbroken, calling himself weak. After Jinbei rips him a new one, he helps remind him of people who he cares for, his crew, thus seeing how the new world will be. He gives him a secret message as they have continued the adventure in the new world. I didn't like Luffy at first, seeing how main protagonists can have their, well, main protagonist personality to say. I found it annoying at first, especially during East Blue and Alabasta, but then I just suddenly just had that brain blast, like that pow, during probably one of my more favorite arcs, Jaya. He was serious, he stayed his ground during the bar scene, that iconic moment with him and Blackbeard, and him just one-punched Springtrap Freddy. He looked cool. It's why I love Jaya arc. That and Luffy likes to eat food, a very relatable characteristic to me. So where does this all go towards? Oh! So during the 2000s and 2010s, we had these episodes of series, basically just remakes of arcs, cut down to an hour and a half, 2 hours per se. And on this marathon, we only have 2 left. But compared to the other episodes of, this one's different. We have an original story. A story on Han Island with many artisans who are forced to work with the Navy, with the head honcho being a pumpkinhead. Of course, after they crash with style, Luffy becomes friends with an old geezer who creates wax figures of many pirates. Of course, of flashbacks and tales. Twice actually in this. The old geezer has a son who wants to be a marine and gets stuck in a cage. So Luffy, Sanji, and Usopp go and deliver this little wax figure he created, saves him, then he beats up the final boss with an elephant gun, and then they leave.
Boy.
Yeah, that was a pretty funny gag throughout the special. They basically never bothered searching for him. So I get that it's focused on Luffy. I mean, it's in the title, but it's mostly a regular adventure. The only reason it's Luffy focused is because of me seeing the East Blue flashbacks again, which makes up for 20 to 30 minutes of this. The rest isn't related whatsoever, other than going back to the East Blue ways and having people have their own treasure in some way. It's a very simple adventure, even more so how people said Fishman Island was. At least with Horny Jones had a slight power up at the end, compared to Pumpkinhead over here who just brought out a mecha and then got 360 no scope. On the bright side, we see Kobe after the time skip. I mean, he did have a slight cameo in Film Z, but this has a bit more to him. Like, we see all that training from Garp, and now he has a mean right hook. And he gets to see Luffy one last time since Marineford, where they had a blink and you'll miss it fight. All in all, episode of Luffy was a very nice filler journey, and the episode of series is almost complete. After Dressrosa ends, we'll be done with them, with small steps along the way.